Hey guys, and welcome to yet another video. If you are new here, hello and welcome to my channel. I am Kalea from Craft Crazy, and today I'll be knotting this most beautiful bracelet and answering some of Bracelet Book's most asked questions. So, hey guys, welcome to yet another video. I have never done a knot with me before, and I'm really excited. So this is basically a video for knotting with me, just like, making a bracelet, and then at the same time, I'm answering some questions on Bracelet Book. They were actually posted. I'm looking at the forums right now. I'm looking at some of these questions that are really actually super simple to answer, and I think they are very, basic, like, helping with basic knot tying issues and just things that people usually have trouble with while they're tying their bracelets. So yeah, let's get started. So the first bracelet is just basically holes in bracelets. So a lot of people get holes in their bracelets while they are tying their knots, and that can be super annoying and super just frustrating. And I would recommend tying them as tight as possible, really focusing on that tightness and just making sure your first half of your knot at least is super tight, and then your second half is securing the knot, just securing the tight knot in place. So yeah, just make sure to tie your knots tight in general, as tight as possible. Sometimes if I get little pieces of string I can see in between each knot, I do not like that. I know some people do, it's their style, but I personally don't enjoy that as much, so I would just tie them super tight, like maybe pull them as hard as I can, just hard enough so they don't snap. But yeah, that is the first question. And then the second question is motivation. This is a question that is not often answered by a lot of YouTubers and people just in the community of bracelets. But yeah, motivation. So I usually get motivated by going on my friends list on Bracelet Book and looking at their to-dos and their photos. So for example, I also look on some moderators as well. So like Crazy Knots, she's pretty cool. Her videos and photos actually inspire me to make bracelets. So like she does have a couple of videos like directions on how to do how to read patterns, how to create them, I guess, on YouTube as well. I will leave a link to her channel in the description. But yeah, I like to look at her photos in Bracelet Book. I think they're super awesome, and they actually inspire me to make bracelets, and they also inspire me to improve my photo quality. So yeah, a tip for motivation is just looking at your friends' pictures and their to-do lists, and also watching some YouTube videos. So yeah, those just aren't really... Not all of them have to do with knot tying, so I'm just going to be going with these not in an order. I'm just going to be randomly saying questions and then answering them. But yeah, so for the next question, I'm actually going to be doing like easier alpha patterns for beginners. So people are asking like, what types of alphas should I begin with if I'm just beginning to make alphas? And usually I recommend a two-tone alpha with only two colors, and also not with too many rows in the alpha pattern, and also just like a simple pattern. So like for example, my first alpha was horrible, but I did a peach pattern. It was a really simple one. I'll leave the pattern in the description as well if you'd like to see that. And yeah, so I just recommend two-tone patterns, not too many rows, simple pattern, as simple as you can find. And you can also apply filters if you're looking for a certain pattern or like an alpha pattern. Just select the filter that you would like. There are a couple of different filters that you could do to find the perfect alpha for you that are at different levels for like beginners for the alpha patterns. And yeah, so that's the answer to that question. And then I have another question here. So there's one. How do I start bracelets? Well, there are many different ways to start a bracelet. So for example, I am using a triangle end technique. So as you can see at the very top of my bracelet, I have this sort of triangle shape, and that is my end. So my starting end, I started it there. You can see, just pick any shape in your pattern that has a possible start to it, that has maybe a tutorial on it if that helps, or just any shape that you could possibly make a start with. So yeah, as you can see in my pattern that I'm creating right here, there is a triangular shape at the very top, and that's where I did my end. And then also the same thing goes with the end of your bracelet. Just find the same shape at the very end and finish the triangle end there. So yeah, there's loops as well, triangle ends after a loop, different types of triangle ends, different variations of them after a loop, and just in general. And yeah, so I usually start with a loop if the amount of colors have, like, for example, there's an even amount of strings, and if there's an even amount of each color. And yeah, that's how I usually start in my bracelets. And yeah, so there's that question as well. Okay, and there's also problems with people when they're tying knots, their fingers start to hurt and the threads start to cut through their fingers and they are burning really bad and it really hurts. I've experienced that many times. I'm actually going through a phase where my knots are pretty tight, I think a bit overly tight. And I actually burned my finger last night. There's a piece of skin missing on it just because of that. And yeah, so maybe a way to reduce that is to make sure to tie your knots not too tight, because if you do, the string can cut through your finger. And yeah, it also depends on the type of string you're using, like what size it is, what type of string you're using, basically, like whether it's thin or thick. So in this case, I'm using thicker string, but some people do like to use thinner string, and that puts you at a higher risk of cutting your fingers and burning them while you are making your knots. So yeah, my advice for that is just to maybe use a thicker version of string if you can, and maybe try your best to tie your knots a little bit looser. That's what helps me the best, just tying my knots a little bit looser than I usually do. And so yeah, there's that question as well. And now it is time to move on to the next question. And so the next question is how to make your alpha rows straighter. And for that, I usually use a ruler when I am tying my alphas. If my row doesn't come out perfectly straight, since I can be a perfectionist sometimes, and if something goes wrong, I have to fix it, or else I will quit the bracelet, I guess. But yeah, for that I would usually use a ruler to just straighten everything out, and or I would start my bracelet on something straight, for example, like a D-ring. If you know what that is, it's basically a key ring that is a semicircle. So I would just be knotting my base strands onto that to start my alpha, and then I'd actually knot with the background color onto those to make my alpha straight. So just start knotting your alpha against something straight. That's another suggestion I have. And then, so yeah, that's another question. And another question I have here on Bracelet Book is an odd number of strings with a bracelet loop. So that answer is a very complicated answer, honestly. It does include splitting your string into different sections. So not just the strings, like bundles of strings at once. It's actually the one string itself. So, you know, if you've closely observed your embroidery floss or material that you're using to make your bracelet, you can see that it does have other strings weaved, so it creates that one string. So there are usually 6 strings, tiny strings that are weaved together in your embroidery floss. Yeah, so 6 of them, and you have to pull them apart. I know that is partially the answer, and I know Alex's Innovations has some of those, or has a video on that is very helpful. And yeah, so the answer is very tedious. I do not know exactly how to answer it, but I do know it does involve splitting your string into two separate bundles. So yeah, that's basically all the questions that are most asked on braceletbook.com. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear more from you guys. And also message me on Bracelet Book if you would like as well. So yeah, that's the end of my questions, and next I'll be moving on to maybe sort of what I'm doing here with this bracelet, and also just a couple of things about me and my bracelet journey. Okay, so to start with my bracelet journey, I have been doing bracelets for 3 years now, I think. I enjoy it. It is one of my passions, actually. I love working with threads. I love making bracelets, and I just never get tired of it. Wherever I go, whether it's far away or just near where I live, I usually bring a bracelet with me to work on because I love it so much. And yeah, so I've been working on it for about 3 years, and I also got introduced to bracelets by my friend. Her friend actually taught it to her, and then my friend taught it to me. So yeah, I did not start out great at all. I still have my first bracelet I have ever made, which is terrible. It was a candy stripe friendship bracelet, and then I have all these other older bracelets as well that include chevrons and other patterns, like 1-2-1-2 patterns that I don't do anymore. But yeah, I do have some of those, and I did not make my bracelets too long back then. I made them so they fit maybe less than half of my wrist. So yeah, I did not make bracelets that were too long, because I know I used to get super bored while I was making my bracelets, and I sort of quit on them while I was doing that, while I was getting all bored. So yeah, but nowadays I don't get that bored anymore, because I just love how all the colors are working together. I just can't stop looking at it, and it makes me want to work even harder and even more on my bracelet. Also, I apologize if you hear any background noises. My fan's super loud here where I am, and also my sister is playing a piano downstairs. So it can be, I'm sorry if you hear any background noises, that is probably why. Also, if you guys are wondering why I don't mention any other social media than Bracelet Book and YouTube here, it's because I don't have any other bracelet social media, so I'm not usually on that kind of stuff, except for Bracelet Book, of course. And yeah, so that's why I always talk about Bracelet Book. That's why I asked you guys to message me on there if you have any questions, and also just why I also ask guys to comment down below, because I don't have any social media currently. So yeah, I hope to get that in the future sometime, but yeah, I will tell you guys when and if I do. Also, if you guys are wondering like, why do I all of a sudden start going into videos that aren't tutorials? Well, I actually got kind of bored of doing just tutorials, and I wanted to change it up a little bit, so that's why I'm actually starting to do these fun videos, and I'll actually be planning to do more of these in the future, like a lot more. For example, I'll be doing some more Not With Me videos, or just some challenges during Christmas time and the holidays, and also Halloween. I'll be showing you guys some of the Halloween sort of themed bracelets I'll be doing, and yeah, just like the holiday themed challenges and just bracelets and overall. And yeah, so I'll be planning to do a lot more fun videos in the future. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also listening to me talk about friendship bracelets and Bracelet Book and YouTube and everything, and also answering some questions and helping you guys out with bracelets. I always try to do my best to help you guys out with all this bracelet like sort of questions and problems that you guys have while you're tying your bracelets, because I can relate to all of that stuff I have mentioned. And yeah, so hope you guys have enjoyed this video and watching me knot. I will be picking up the speed while I'm making my bracelets, editing so it shows me speed knotting, because I know a lot of people do enjoy watching me do that for a little bit. And yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this once again and learned from it, and also got some help if you needed it. So hope you guys tune in to more of my videos in the future, and happy knotting! So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. That means so much to me, because I'd love to see my channel grow in the future. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Happy knotting, and Bye!